The steady beep of the heart monitor echoed in my ears. I opened my eyes slowly. Stark white walls blurred into focus. "Elara, honey, you are awake," a familiar voice whispered. I turned my head. Julian sat beside my bed. He looked perfectly exhausted. His scrubs were wrinkled and a single, flawless tear rolled down his cheek. He squeezed my hand gently. "You are a walking miracle," Julian said, his voice trembling. "I almost lost you." I stared at him. "How long?" I croaked. My throat felt like sandpaper. 18 hours, he sighed, kissing my knuckles. "I operated on you for 18 hours straight. It was the hardest surgery of my life." "Thank you," I whispered. I forced a weak smile. But my blood ran ice cold. I was not grateful. My mind flashed back to the crushed metal of my car. I remembered the smell of burning rubber and the agonizing pain in my chest. But most vividly, I remembered what I saw right before I blacked out. A silver sports car driving slowly past my wreckage. Julian's car. I saw him clearly. His arm was wrapped around Serena, the beautiful junior doctor from his department. He looked right at my crushed car. He saw my license plate. And then he sped away. "I need water," I muttered, pulling my hand from his grip. "Of course, my love," Julian said quickly. He poured a cup and held the straw to my lips. "I will never leave your side again. I promise." The door opened before I could reply. A tall man in a white coat walked in. It was Dr. Vance. "Julian, the hospital director needs you downstairs," Dr. Vance said flatly. His eyes were cold. "Tell him to wait," Julian snapped. "My wife just woke up." "Julian, go," I said softly. "I am okay." Julian hesitated, then kissed my forehead. "I will be right back," he promised, rushing out of the room. The room fell silent. Dr. Vance walked to the foot of my bed and checked my chart. He played the devoted hero so incredibly well, I whispered softly, staring blindly up at the white ceiling. Dr. Vance paused. "What did you say?" "Nothing," I lied. "Just tired." Dr. Vance walked over and stood beside me. "Elara, you need to know the truth." "What terrible truth?" I asked him, looking straight up at him with wide eyes. "Julian did not save you," Dr. Vance stated bluntly. "I started your emergency surgery. You were bleeding out. And your husband was completely unreachable for 3 hours?" My heart pounded against my ribs. 3 hours? "Yes," Dr. Vance nodded grimly. "We paged him repeatedly. His phone was off. When he finally arrived, he took over the surgery and claimed all the credit. But if I had waited for him, you would be dead." "Did he say where he was?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "He claimed he was sleeping in his car," Dr. Vance scoffed. "But he did not look like he had been sleeping." "I know where he was," I whispered. Dr. Vance frowned. "Excuse me?" "Nothing, Dr. Vance. Thank you for saving my life," I said smoothly. "Rest, Elara. You have a long recovery ahead," he said, turning to leave. "Dr. Vance," I called out before he opened the door. He looked back. "Yes?" "Please do not tell Julian we had this conversation." "My lips are sealed," he promised, stepping into the hallway. I lay alone in the cold room. The heart monitor beeped steadily. Julian had let me bleed. He hid his affair instead of calling an ambulance. He let me suffer, and now he was using my tragedy to boost his arrogant ego. Julian walked back in, smiling warmly. "The director wants to do a press interview tomorrow," he announced proudly. "They are calling it a medical miracle." "That is truly wonderful news, Julian." I smiled weakly at him. I reached out and squeezed his hand. "You are my hero." "I love you, Elara," he beamed. "I love you too," I lied smoothly. Deep inside, my soul hardened into pure steel. I was not just going to survive. I was going to utterly destroy him. For the next 3 weeks, I swallowed my absolute disgust. I played the role of the weak, adoring wife perfectly in the luxurious VIP ward. "Smile for the cameras, darling," Julian whispered, wrapping his arm around my shoulders. Mr. Sterling, the hospital director, stood proudly beside us. "Julian is our top surgeon. His dedication to his wife is a testament to our hospital's values." "Thank you, Mr. Sterling," Julian said humbly. "I just did my job." I smiled at the flashing cameras. "He is my guardian angel," I said softly. As soon as the reporters left, Julian checked his watch. "I have rounds, Elara. Get some rest." "Okay, honey," I replied. The moment he walked out, my fragile smile vanished. I grabbed my hidden cell phone from under my pillow. Maya, my best friend, walked in exactly 5 minutes later. "He is gone," Maya said, locking the door behind her. "What did you find?" I asked, sitting up straight. "I talked to Officer Hayes." Maya whispered, pulling a tablet from her bag. He is the traffic cop who investigated your crash. He is a good guy. I told him we suspected a hit and run before the ambulance arrived. Did he find anything? I pressed. Yes, the delivery truck that hit you had a dashcam. Hayes pulled the footage for the official police report. He sent me a secure copy. Before I could take the tablet, the door handle rattled. Maya quickly shoved the tablet under the blanket. Nurse Betty, a kind older woman, walked in to check my vitals. She looked nervous. Are you feeling okay, dear? Betty asked quietly, adjusting my IV drip. I am fine, Betty, thank you, I said. Betty hesitated. She looked at the closed door, then back at me. Tears filled her eyes. I cannot sleep at night, Elara. I have to tell you. Tell me what? I asked gently. During your surgery, Betty choked out, wiping a tear. Dr. Vance was saving you. Then Julian arrived. He took over. But an hour later, that junior doctor, Serena, started crying in the hallway. My stomach flipped. What did Julian do? He paused your surgery, Betty sobbed. You were open on the table. He stepped away for 20 minutes to hold her in the hallway. He said he needed to calm her down. Maya gasped loudly. He left her dying to comfort his mistress? Betty nodded quickly. I'm so sorry. He is a monster. Thank you, Betty. Please do not tell anyone else yet, I said. My voice was eerily calm. Betty nodded and hurried out of the room. Maya pulled the tablet back out. Do you still want to watch this? Give it to me, I demanded. I pressed play. The video was clear. The truck hit my car. The impact was brutal. A minute later, a silver sports car pulled up. Julian and Serena were inside. Julian rolled down the window. He looked directly at my bloody face pressed against the broken glass. I saw his eyes widen in panic. Serena pointed at me, covering her mouth. Julian shook his head, rolled up the window, and sped away. I sobbed quietly. I watched my husband choose to let me die. He is going to pay, Maya whispered, hugging me tightly. I wiped my tears and handed the tablet back. Call him. Call who? Maya asked. Attorney Cole, I said firmly. Tell him to draft the papers. An hour later, Attorney Cole walked into my room. He was a sharp, ruthless lawyer in a tailored suit. Mrs. Vance, I reviewed the dashcam footage, Cole said smoothly. This is not just medical malpractice. This is criminal negligence. I want a divorce, I told him. And I want everything he owns. We will take his medical license, his money, and his freedom forever, Cole promised calmly, handing me a thick manila folder. Very good, I whispered softly. I took the heavy silver pen from his hand. In the quiet darkness of my hospital room, I silently signed the final divorce papers. I stared intently at my name right on the dotted line. My hot tears were completely gone now. Only pure, cold, calculating vengeance remained in my heart. The day of my hospital discharge finally arrived. It was also the exact day Julian was hosting his grand press conference in the main hospital lobby. He was accepting a prestigious medical award for my miracle surgery. Instead of wearing the pretty floral dress he bought me, I wore a sharp black suit. I walked slowly out of the elevator. The lobby was packed. Dozens of reporters held cameras. Mr. Sterling stood on the stage. Julian stood beside him, holding a shiny glass trophy. Serena stood in the front row, clapping loudly. She wore a tight red dress and smiled brightly at him. She thought she had won. She thought they had gotten away with leaving me in a crushed metal box to die. But they were both very wrong. I could not have done this without the love of my beautiful wife, Julian announced into the microphone. He wiped a fake tear from his eye. Elara is my world. He raised the eye. Glass trophy high in the air for the flashing cameras. Everyone cheered loudly for the brave, devoted husband. It made me absolutely sick to my stomach. Stop lying, Julian, I said loudly. The crowd parted. I walked straight up to the podium. The cameras flashed wildly. Elara, honey, Julian said nervously. He reached out to grab my arm. You should be resting upstairs. You are not well enough to be down here, he whispered, trying to pull me away from the bright spotlight. Let us go back to your room right now before you make a huge scene. I slapped his hand away. With a steady hand, I slammed a thick manila envelope right onto his chest. He fumbled and caught it. What is this? Julian laughed awkwardly, looking at the reporters. My wife is still confused and traumatized from the crash. Those are divorce papers, I said clearly. My voice echoed through the microphone. And a massive malpractice lawsuit. You are a coward and a liar, I added, staring deep into his terrified eyes. You do not deserve to wear that white coat for another single day of your life. The lobby erupted into loud gasps. Mr. Sterling stepped forward, frowning deeply. Mrs. Vance, this is highly inappropriate, Mr. Sterling warned. I am not done, I told him. I looked to the back of the room and nodded. Maya was standing by the media control booth. She gave me a thumbs up and hit a button. The massive digital projector behind Julian flickered. His smiling portrait vanished. Instead, a grainy video filled the giant screen. It was the dashcam footage. The entire room went completely silent. They watched the terrible crash. Then they watched Julian's silver sports car pull up. They saw Serena point at my trapped body. They watched Julian look directly at his bleeding wife, shake his head, and speed away to protect his secret affair. The silence shattered into chaos. Reporters shouted questions. Serena covered her face and ran toward the exit. But security guards blocked her path. Where are you going, Serena? I shouted at her through the microphone. You wanted him so badly. Well, you can finally have him now. Julian dropped the envelope. The papers spilled across the floor. He looked at the giant screen in absolute horror. Elara, please, Julian begged, falling to his knees. His confident mask was completely destroyed. I panicked. I was scared. I love you. You paused my surgery to comfort your mistress while I bled on the table. I said coldly. You do not know what love is? Julian, you are fired, Mr. Sterling shouted angrily, grabbing the microphone. Security, escort this man off the premises immediately. Call the police. No, please, Julian wept like a pathetic child. He crawled toward me and grabbed my ankle. Elara, forgive me. Do not do this to me. My career is ruined. You ruined yourself, I replied, kicking my foot out of his grip. I turned my back on his pathetic cries. The reporters swarmed him, snapping photos of the great surgeon sobbing on the floor. I did not look back. I walked straight out through the sliding glass doors and stepped into the warm sunlight. I was finally and truly free.